Hey folks, Roland Martin here. What's happening, Roland? Well, today's Friday. It's actually May the 31st. It's been a grand and glorious week, I tell you. Now last week I told you about the big giant monster bass that hit my speedworm out on the lake. It was just the biggest fish I think I've had on in a couple of years. Anyway, that was last week. That was the full moon week. Okay, this week it's kind of different. This week they hit the speedworm some, but I tell you what they really hit. They really hit this Spro Pop 80. Now, how many times have I talked about the Spro Pop 80? This has been just a fantastic deal. I just want to show you what it is. This I have caught the last 3 or 4 days. I've gone out on Headwaters Lake, and we have taken this plug early in the morning from about 7 o'clock in the morning or 6:30 in the morning till 9:30. That's 3 hours of topwater fishing. We're getting 20 to 25 bass a day. Now look, I'm gonna just show you how I'm gonna do it. Okay, I'm gonna come over here to this little pond. I'm just gonna show you how I work it, and this has been so good. It's working like clockwork. I just throw it out there. There's no, I don't know if there's any bass in here. I'll throw it out there. I'll let it sit until all the ripples. See the ripples die away? The ripples are all spreading out. 8, 9, 10 feet. Then I just twitch it just a little teeny bit, just to twitch it, just to twitch. Then I kind of pop it maybe twice. I'm throwing to the hydrilla lines. I'm throwing to the weed lines. Boom. Okay. Every day we're getting bass over 5 pounds. Not many, 1 or 2. And yesterday we had a bass probably 8 pounds. We caught one 6. We caught one 5 on topwater. But this topwater plug is so great. Now I'm throwing it on. I'll tell you this whole deal about the topwater fishing is so cool. Let me just tell you what it is. What I have here is I have a 50-pound test braid. And this is the favorite rod. This is the 8-to-1 Solace reel. And it just casts like a dream. Casts a million miles. I can throw it just out of sight. But again, the whole secret is letting it sit that first 8 or 10 seconds until the ripples die out, 8 or 10 feet, and then just a small little twitch. So many times, those big 3 and 4 and 5 pound fish will just suck it down like a bluegill. It's just a little bitty strike. Anyway, and then you pop it a couple times, you let it sit again, and you don't really splash the water much, and you don't work it very fast or hard. You work it slow. And you throw into a target. You throw into the edge of the weed line. And here's the other really kind of key deal. The sun's coming up. It's been a bright, sunny day for the last 3 or 4 days. And so I'm throwing into the sun because now I'm throwing to a weed line. They have to picture this. Bass have they don't have eyelids, and they are sensitive to the sun, so they like to stay in the shade. So they're on the shady side of these, on the eastern side of these ditches and the eastern side of the canals and eastern side of the big deep gravel pits that we have in the headwaters. The bass are looking out to the west now. That's away from the sun, and they're in the shade. So now the plug comes over them. It comes over them, and it comes out to that open water. They're now looking into the shade. They're not looking into the sun, and they come up and hit that. If you throw the other way, and I've tried it on the west side, the sun's coming into that shoreline. We're not getting any strikes at all. We're fishing nothing but the shady side of the hydrilla, and it just working like clockwork. In fact, we caught some bass even at 10 or 10:30, and it's bright sun. There's not a look at this day. It's just so bright and sunny. Well, that's been just phenomenal. 20, 30, 40 bass a day, striking this daggone Spro Pop 80. It's got Gamakatsu hooks. That's the other thing. Spro is actually a division of Gamakatsu, and that they make the sharpest hooks in the whole world. And I'm telling you what, folks, you don't need anything but a spinning rod. I mean, you could do this whole thing I'm talking about on 6 or 8 or 10-pound line. You don't need heavy line because I'm not fishing heavy grass. I'm throwing to a weed line, but I'm fishing open water. So when the fish hits, it's a 4 and 5 or 6 pound bass. I mean, it's out in open water. And I got a 50-pound braid, and yeah, I can horse them in, but that's really not the whole deal. Let's get back over to the airboat. Speaking of airboats, that's another deal. My airboat's running really great. And I had the neatest time this a couple days ago. I took this airboat out of Blue Cypress Lake. Now, Blue Cypress Lake is part of the St. Johns River marsh system. It's actually a lake that's spring fed. I'm going to say, without a doubt, I've been all over Florida. I've lived here 40, 50 years. It's the prettiest lake I've ever been on. I've never been on a more gorgeous lake in the world. And there's just thousands of ospreys and even eagles all over every third or fourth or fifth cypress tree. And there's like 10,000 cypress trees. These are big 200 and 300-year-old cypress trees, just gigantic, big, giant cypress trees. And the bass, I'm taking a little worm, a little spinning rod. In fact, I don't have it set up right now. And I caught, a fair number of fish. I didn't catch a whole lot of bass. I didn't catch any big ones, a couple around 3 pounds. But it was so beautiful. I went out there Memorial Day, and I'm a veteran. Okay, let me just tell you about Memorial Day. I served my time during the Vietnam crisis, and I was a infantry officer, and I ran a rifle range. And I didn't go to Vietnam, but I ran a rifle range. But at least I gave service to the country. So when Memorial Day comes around, it's a special day. And that's what I did. On Memorial Day, I went out on Blue Cypress all by myself and just reflected upon the great and grand and glorious career I've had, part of it being in the military, part of it being in the Army, part of it being an infantry officer during the Vietnam crisis. And so it was a great, super day for me, Memorial Day on Blue Cypress Lake. Anyway, okay, then after that, the next couple of days, we started doing, let me just show you a couple of things that really worked out. Here's the meat and potato deal. Once the sun gets up high, you can go to a speedworm. I told you about that big 13 or 14 pound bass I hooked last week on a speedworm. It was a gigantic fish anyway. I'm rigging this up, and how I rigged that one up the other week was 1/8 of an ounce weight, a big giant speedworm. This happens to be a TEDx model by Chuck Pippin's deal. The Chuck is an old friend of mine. I don't know what they call this worm. Chuck is it stretches. It's a stretchy worm, and you can fish it all day long. And that's, again, a favorite rod and reel. And I swim it along slowly. And what I do, I throw it out there on a speed worm, and my whole deal is just a slow reel, a slow reel, the slow reel, and I have it kind of in the strike position. And so what I do, it's a slow reel. When I finally get a strike, it's a worm. So I go forward, wait 2 or 3 seconds, and bow, just really hit them. And that's been a real, that you can catch fish on this all day long. Now yesterday, I kind of did a little kind of different deal. I caught a 6.5 pounder on this lure. No, okay. Hey, the old Big Ezey. How many times have over the years here at Headwaters, I've caught just tons of fish on the Big Ezey. This is the the normal size model. I'm running on a 5/0 EWG hook and a little 1/8 of an ounce weight. Again, 50-pound braid. And what the Big Ezey deal is, the tail vibrates so easily. It just that I just slow roll it. Well, I don't know, slow roll it. Just go slow. I just reel it slow and easy, just steady and slow and easy. And maybe every 10 or 15 feet, if I see like a hole in the hydraulic, because I have polarized glasses, I have the Flying Fisherman Series glasses. I'm looking out there in the sun, and I can see little dark spots. When I see a dark spot, I just kind of stop it and let it settle down in there like a worm, and then I reel it along. Well, hey, 6.5 pounds. That's not a bad bass for a lure this time of year. Here, speaking of this time of year, May, and I explained this last week. May is one of the best months in the world because not only are we just killing them on artificials, topwater, swimming worms, Big Ezeys and chatterbaits. We're just. Here's the other thing. You can take a chatterbait on a windy day. I'm saying it blew pretty hard today. We took the chatterbait and just whacked them on that. Caught several fish on that. Okay, so artificial is a big deal. People come down. They said, we want to catch a great big bass. Want to catch a big bass? Sure, you can catch them on artificial. Yeah. But hey, here's the other deal. Here's the deal that's been working 100% of the time it works. It works from January through December of the next year. It's a summer deal. This is a free line setup, and I'm taking a shiner, a medium-sized shiner. I'm going to these many different deep spots in Fellsmere, and there's a lot of 15 and 20-foot water in these 17 gravel pits that we have, and all these hundreds of miles of canals. And I'm taking a shiner and putting on this little 1/8 of an ounce weight right here, 20-pound, 30-pound of braid according to the spinning rod. This is a regular spinning. This is the old Salty series spinning reel and rod, and that's a 4/0 shiner hook. There's a requirement here on Headwaters that you have to use a circle hook, which is no problem. I hook them to the nose and just kind of drag them along. In this case, what I do, and even dead shiners, I'll tell you what, I'm catching just about as many. This sounds stupid. I catch just about as many on dead shiners as I do live shiners. I throw it out in the 15, 20-foot water, just throw it out there. And you know, now this isn't my regular boat, but I have rod holders on my regular tractor, that 2072 tractor. I have rod holders all around it. I'll put this in the rod holder and I open the bail and just watch it. And all of a sudden you'll see the line just start peeling out. And what I tell everybody with a circle hook, just reel until you just tighten them up. Just tighten them up. And if it comes loose out of their mouth, stop, because they'll hit it again. And so, and I get on them, and I don't want them to just set in the hook real hard, not with a circle hook. Anyway, we just catch a world of fish. Today, you wouldn't believe this. We caught 20 bass on topwater. We caught 35 bass on shiners. We went through 100 shiners and got bit on every single shiner we had. Of course, we missed some bass. But I'm telling you, it was just, that's the kind of fishing you can have. 40, 50, 60 bass a day. I don't know, we had 7 or 8 that were from 4 to 8. Oh no, the biggest today was 6 pounds. I'm sorry. We didn't have an 8-pounder today. But we're having a lot of 3 and 4 and 5 pound fish, and a few 6s and a few 7s. So it's like all the guys I'm fishing with, everybody I've fished with for the last week or so have said, whether they catch their biggest fish or not, they said it was the best fishing day they've ever had because it's the most quality bass they've ever caught. I'm talking about 4, 5, and 6 pound fish. We had like 15 today, over 4 pounds. Now that's a big day. So anyway, that's the kind of fishing we're having. So anyway, folks, come on down to. I'm taking off this next week, and I'm going to do some film work with Pedro Soares out of Mexico. I'll be with Jimmy Houston. I'll be with my good friend with the Booyah Company, Mike Wisecarver, you know, the boat cleaner, the green chemical that we clean our boats with. Anyway, hey, listen, thanks for watching these videos. I try to bring to the table how to catch fish. And I'm catching them really good right now. I just want to let you know how I do it. And so anyway, thanks for watching. And hey, hit that likes button, hit that subscribe button, because I tell you, O'Reilly's and all these wonderful people that I have as sponsors and advertisers, they really appreciate it. So anyway, folks, thanks for watching. Hey, we'll see you again soon.